What's going on, everybody? What's happening? I haven't done one of these in a very, very long time. And you know what? It's middle of the day. I'm actually going to be traveling all the way down to Anaheim later for VidCon. And I thought to myself, while I'm running these errands real quick, I go live on my Facebook and talk to y'all and get a better understanding of what my Facebook audience is like. Now, normally you're supposed to do these at a set time every day. You're supposed to highlight them ahead of time, But I thought to myself, what'll happen if I just go live casually on my Facebook and just kind of ask you guys what the deal is and talk to you, get a better feel for what the audience looks like here on Facebook. Like I go live frequently. What's going on, guys? I go live frequently on my Instagram, casually, which if you guys don't follow, you probably should. But yeah, just thought I would do it on Facebook as well. I'm gonna test out a couple different things right now. I already put my phone on a socket, so don't worry. I'm not actually, driving while texting or driving while living, so do not worry about that. Thank you for sending your love and support, Lauren from Dallas. So what I wanted to ask you guys actually is, that's a good way to start this. You love these live videos. I do love these live videos. It's like a little hang up, you know what I mean? Like a little hangout. A great way for me to connect with you guys and try to figure out where you're from, try to figure out what you guys are interested in, where did you find me. So let's start off with that. I want to do a quick roll call. Where are you guys from? Just very quickly, just put it in there in the comments, and as soon as I get to a red light, I will scour through a couple if I can. In the meantime, yeah. Oh, is anyone going to VidCon? That's another question I had. Like, I don't know how much VidCon tickets cost. Hold on, I'm gonna rotate my phone. Oh, I guess you can't rotate it once it starts, huh? I put it at a different pop socket this time, thinking that maybe this will be better, but it's not working. I'm doing a terrible job with this. But in any case, so yeah, where are you guys from? And are you guys going to VidCon? Is anyone going to VidCon? And also, how did you guys find me? What was the first video that you saw? And what made you stay? I love that this was supposed to be a Ask Me Anything, but instead it is turning into a Ask You Guys Things, because I am genuinely interested in what makes you all tick and how you found me in general. Are there any conservatives in the live audience right now that are watching? And I'm asking this because I want to know if y'all are trolling or not, or if you're genuinely following me because you think that I bring a refreshing perspective that kind of breaks through all of the liberal mumbo jumbo or whatever, like things that agitate you about mainstream news or mainstream media. You might not necessarily have a problem with here. God damn, this dude is just straight up dead in the middle of the street. That's crazy. Anyway. You're righteous, stop being overly condescending. I don't remember the first video anymore, but I stayed because I like your comments. When you drag Tommy Lampshade for being a racist, Tamita Craziest made you watch her, and your views on things are like the exact same as mine. My mommy won't let me spend money to go on VidCon. That's funny. Is it cannabis? Cannabis will be legal in California? Oh, that's like what you want me to cover, or is that what you... Because cannabis will be legal in Canada? Because I don't think I covered that. Also, how do you like my my dog's early collars right here? Like all of the different collars that he used, from a puppy to the adult doggy that he turned into. A pitty. The adult pitty that he turned into. Anyway. Orlando here. Oh, hell yeah. Found you through a friend. Not a conservative. Are there any conservatives? or like anyone who follows me that feels that they lean conservative at all, I'm interested to find out. Like because originally one of the intentions that I had when I first started doing the Tommy Lauren videos, or the Tabitha Larynx, or the tomato lasagna videos, was because I wanted to just kind of deconstruct conservative messaging that was extremely popular, because a lot of the things that Tommy was saying really resonated with millions and millions of conservatives. And I thought maybe I could bring in some conservatives over to our side, or to my side in general, by showing them that a lot of the messaging is purely hypocritical. It's completely baseless, and it doesn't necessarily turn into policy that is helpful for the conservative base. Well, thank you, Shayla Nicole. On guns, but not much else. I'm also in the buckle of the Bible Belt. Oh, is that what we disagree on? I feel like that's the interesting thing, is like a lot of people don't know exactly what my perspective is on guns. Like I shoot guns. I'm familiar with weapons. I think it's like something to. It's important that I know. It's important that I'm as knowledgeable as possible on weapons, given that I talk about legislating them a lot. And I definitely think that guns are a very unique situation, because there are a lot of leftists and a lot of progressive people who believe in arming the populace from a very constitutional regulated militia perspective. And in some respects, I kind of understand where they're coming from. In some respects, I kind of respect that. I think regulated militias, like the Black Panther movement, was helpful as far as civil rights, as far as like an overarching part of the civil rights movement. I think that is somewhat necessary from a defensive position. So I do identify with some aspects of that. I just think that it's absolutely ridiculous that it's not regulated properly at all. That anyone can own a gun, and there are no background checks for the most part. I mean, obviously there are in some states, but it's very easy to purchase a gun in a lot of states in America, especially through multiple different loopholes, like the gun show loophole, which a lot of conservatives will then argue in bad faith does not exist, but it does. And anyway, in any case, let's not talk about guns. Anyway, you're from Norwalk, Ohio. That's interesting. So how does it feel? Are a lot of you guys liberals or progressives from largely conservative areas? Or would you say that you guys are liberals from largely liberal bi-coastal areas? Are you a part of the bi-coastal elite? I'm waiting for answers from you. How would I describe my beliefs? What label would I put on them, and why? I would say that I'm a leftist. I acknowledge a lot of the issues that our current present day society experiences is because of late stage capitalism or unchecked capitalism. I think I don't subscribe to the full eradication of capitalism like a lot of leftists do. I think that it is necessary in some respects. I think where the buck stops for me is, hold on, I have to reverse real quick while I do this. I think the buck stops for me as far as dialing back on capitalism. The buck stops for me when it comes to nationalizing certain aspects of industry. I think heavy regulation is necessary for any industry, given the human component and the profit motive, and the fact that everyone behaves in a selfish manner, motivated by greed. That all CEOs, for example, care about is increasing shareholder value. So obviously there's heavy regulation necessary, even though big government has failed us, or big government in the way has failed us currently. Okay, I'm reading this stuff. Hold on, sorry. I'm from a super red district. If a person who makes up his mind on each topic, I've voted both sides. I can't tell you how difficult it is just to hold my tongue when privileged white men are talking about politics. Love you, brother. Keep it up. That's interesting, Trish. Why would you say that? I think, look, the thing is, one of the things I try to do is have empathy for everyone. And oftentimes it might come across as though I don't have any empathy for or for people who are in positions of power. Well, I don't have empathy for people in positions of power, but because we should hold them accountable in a cold and calculating manner and demand that they actually look out for our best interests rather than their own personal best interests. But when it comes to certain subgroups in our culture, in our society, like, and specifically I'm referring to white men here, white males, I think I can demonstrate empathy towards them as well. I don't necessarily ever intend to single out a certain subsect of society and call them out and say that they are incapable of demonstrating empathy to others. When I refer to certain tropes in our society, I'm referring to, you know who I'm referring to, the MAGA chuds and the uneducated people or the educated people who are being purposefully racially discriminatory or bigoted because it's just a hunch that they have that this is morally wrong. It's not backed through evidence. It's not backed through facts. Obviously, I know that not all white people are evil or anything like that, even though some people do criticize me with that. New York, how importantly do you think geography plays in all this? With Elon Musk's tubes will fix the xenophobia? No, I don't think Elon Musk is capable of fixing anything, but that's a totally different point. You're awesome, Hasan. Thank you for being the voice of the little guy. Well, thank you. American conservatives is hugely different from the UK's Conservative Party. I know, because the UK in general is like shifted way to the left. Their Overton window is kind of similar to the United States Overton window, but in the UK they are way more socialist leaning, versus in the United States our political spectrum, the middle of our political spectrum, is firmly planted in the right. So what you think are centrist beliefs in America are very conservative principles in other countries. Specifically, I'm referring to Western European countries, Western European nations. I will be going off Fortnite later, and thank you for everyone who's tuning in right now to shout out the Fortnite stuff. But once I'm done with this, definitely go check that out, and definitely go follow me on Twitch and subscribe to me on Twitch as well if you want to support me in some way. Anyway, how did you become so involved in covering politics? Did you go to school for this? I did go to school for politics. Tolerance is problematic in itself. It means you can stay there. I will tolerate you, but that's all I am. Wow, that's interesting. I never thought about that before. Words and concepts should change. I agree. Words and concepts do change. So much so that labor is heading down the road of communist. I don't think so, James Taylor. I disagree with that. I think labor is heading down a path that is more of a populist socialism that is true to the founding tenets of democratic socialism. They're just increasing very popular, or ideas that should be very popular, ideas that are very populist at least, like making sure that the NHS is properly funded, things of that nature. But what do I know? I'm not from the UK. Olympia, I hate when people use veterans to promote hate. Veterans before immigrant. No, dude, that's not cool. As a white man over 50, I've seen a lot, but this is the worst. Very depressing. Thanks for your opinions. Damn. If people over the age of 50 think this administration is uniquely bad, then this administration must be uniquely bad. I feel like every generation always thinks, oh man, we have it worse than everyone else. But, I never really thought that older generations would feel that way as well. Hi from Texas. Hi, Veronica. All right, let me run down to the end of it. Hasan, you've been a beacon for me. Going to McAllen, Texas. Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you, Rosalind. Good job. Everyone, engage in political activism in your communities. That's very important. What I do would be completely meaningless if everyone sat on their asses and got angry and maybe even just like tweeted about the things that they're pissed off about. But when you actually go out and take it to the streets, whether it is to protest or actually go out and engage in hands-on activism, that's what makes this worthwhile. That's what truly makes what I do meaningful, because what I do is just sitting on my ass and criticizing this administration and trying to inform as many people as possible in an entertaining way. Yeah, no, I agree that Jeremy Corbyn is shifting the Labour Party further left. But I don't necessarily disagree with his policy positions. Why do human beings accept the capitalist status quo as it stands right now? After the agricultural revolution, did everyone just become insane? So that's one of my main issues with our current understanding of economics, is that we live under a capitalist dogma, basically. The way we regard capitalism is the way we regarded religion in theocratic monarchies, basically. God gave all of the power and resources to this singular force, and then that singular force divvied out, assigned others to also hold on to some wealth and some power under feudalism and under other systems where the few controlled the power and resources of the many. And it's no different under capitalism, where you have the six wealthiest men on the planet have more access, more wealth, and more resources than the bottom 50%, and that's a systemic failure, in my opinion. But it is very difficult to show people that the intergenerational wealth and luck in general plays a significant part in how people get far under global capitalism. Anyway, I see no hearts when I'm talking about this, which leads me to believe that a lot of people don't agree with me. Border crossing falls under civil. Well, Gualte, actually, border crossing, as of Trump's executive order yesterday, falls under criminal now. Border crossing, for the first time, is a civil misdemeanor while they figure out what your status should be, and tried under a civil immigration court. But now it will be tried as a criminal. It will be prosecuted and tried as a criminal offense, even if it's a first-time border crossing. Latinos in South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley is underwater, including McAllen, Texas. No state of emergency declared. Oh, that's terrible. I had no idea. Is there any way to get across someone like my grandfather who believes and supports in the party regardless of the person representing that party? Okay, Amber and everyone else that could potentially, everyone else that potentially believes that the Republican Party could be good or could be saved in some respects, I have to tell you, you have to face the hard reality that a lot of what Donald Trump is doing is favored by Republicans. Almost everything that Donald Trump has done from a policy perspective, no matter how cruel or how inhumane or how counterproductive it is, Republicans love that shit. The real reason why Republicans don't like Donald Trump is because he gives the game away. I've said this since the campaign started. If you remember some of my earlier videos, like, Donald Trump is tactless, which is why a lot of people were offended, because he was crude and he was rude and he was brash. And he just said it exactly how it is. But for many Republicans, the MAGA chuds as we refer to them, that was amazing, because they had finally dropped the dog whistles and they were just, they had switched out the dog whistles for the absolute bullhorn. So that's why they liked it. That 30% base is the people who are unapologetically in support of Donald Trump because they don't give a shit. The rest of the Republican Party still loves Donald Trump. That's why even the most outspoken Republicans like Jeff Flake, like people who are not even running for re-election, still only performatively disagree with Donald Trump, but when it comes to policies, they vote almost 94% in favor of Donald Trump's policies, because Donald Trump is a regular Republican. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think we can save your granddad. That's the reality. Especially for someone who just has firmly planted their feet in the ideology of conservatism. It's not going to change at that age. It's not going to change at that point. Anyway, you rock Fortnite, but get on the real skill level and play PUBG. I'm not going to do that. The other Republicans are scared to say something. No, I'm serious. Like immigration is a perfect example, right? Okay, so let's analyze immigration for a second. So it's not a secret that the Clinton administration and the Obama administration also towed the line in order not to come across as weak in the face of serious Republican opposition when it came to immigration policies. That's a big part of the reason why they enacted they enacted the INS or Bush put ICE. Bush created ICE, and then Barack Obama continued to use ICE. Occupy ICE PDX. Anyway, but do we have a duty to understand those on the other side? Yeah, we have a duty to understand those on the other side. I absolutely think we should. I try to understand those on the other side every day. I watch freaking Fox News way more than a normal Fox News viewer would. My writer and best friend is a libertarian. Like, I surround myself with Republicans. I even try to understand. I use my privilege. I go to spaces occupied predominantly by white Americans who are comfortable saying certain things that that would completely offend your liberal bicoastal sensibilities. I do this because I want to understand where all of this is coming from. And as someone who thinks they understand the heart of the Republican Party, or someone who understands the essence of conservatism, I can tell you without a doubt that fear-mongering about or the capitalization of racial anxieties plays a significant part of the Republican Party platform. That's why there is already an existing trope that, oh man, Republicans are racist. That's just a fact. Like, if it was about, it's just a fact. It's good messaging. Like, it's just good marketing. Republicans, for all of their faults, or conservatives for all of their faults, have way better think tanks, understand the needs of their constituency better. They don't address them because the constituency overall, Americans across the board, have the exact same needs, but they at least know how to mobilize their base in a better way than the Democratic Party does. The Democratic Party does IDPOL, which is, and some of this is important because you don't want to risk the erasure of certain subsects of society, like, trans people and whatnot. But the Democratic Party mobilizes around performative feminism, not real feminism, not egalitarian shit, but just like, oh, we need more female CEOs, instead of the concept of CEOs are broken to begin with. You know what I mean? Versus the Republican Party will do white IDPOL, which is immigrants are going to brown out America, and you guys are already losing your grip on power, and that should terrify you. At least the least we can do is cut off immigration to some capacity. Can you do a live debate with Ben Shapiro? I would. I don't even want to debate these people. I want to understand where they're coming from. I want to ask them questions. Truly. Dems fall in love, Republicans fall in line. Is there any leader in this world who you like? Is it possible for a leader to make everyone happy? Yeah, I like Bernie Sanders. I like Jeremy Corbyn. That's all I got for now. Leaders actively in office, those are the people I like. It hasn't even worked. Tell them we are all Americans in my experience. Are there any Republican politicians we should be highlighting in a positive manner? Also, as someone who recently ditched conservatism, how do we reform the Democratic Party? Okay, Kiko, let me ask you something. Why did you ditch conservatism? And also, I don't really think that there are any Republican politicians that we should be highlighting, because from a fiscal perspective, like a lot of Democrats are moderates, right? They're centrists, so, or we call them neoliberals. Like, a lot of Democrats are fiscally conservative, but socially progressive. Now, to me, that's a problem. But most Republicans, almost all Republicans, are both socially conservative, even if they personally aren't, but they are that way for their constituents, and definitely fiscally conservative. So fiscal conservatism is something I disagree with on principle when Democrats do it, so of course I disagree with Republicans when they do it. But like, I don't know, Susan Collins, I guess, she's fine, kind of, because she is a voice of reason in the Republican Party. But does that mean that she's better than potentially a progressive candidate that could take over her seat? No, of course not. Kamala Harris is a cop. That's all I'm going to say about that. By the way, ever put thought into the Space Force? Yeah, whatever. I guess if military spending will finally go towards the space race again, it could potentially be good, because it is the final frontier as we know it, and I am a firm believer that science should continue to advance, and we know that this government loves spending money on the military, so if some of those will go into R&D into looking at colonizing Mars, then more power to him, I guess. I really wonder what my thoughts are about Erdogan. Erdogan and Donald Trump are very similar. Just one's fake Christian, and then the other one is like kind of using Islam in a similar way. Anyway, hello from Switzerland, American guy here. I feel grateful to live outside the US. I'm not apathetic, but it's nice to get a break sometimes. How can expats help make a change? Is it just by voting on the absentee ballot? No. You should actually, I don't know what this means. Isabella Thau is watching. But yeah, no, actually, you can make a change. Talk to people in America about how life is in Switzerland and what policies you genuinely appreciate in Swiss politics. I think that's a good way to start. Inform your friends. I did see Melania's jacket today. That's actually what I did a story on. I just did like a quick funny story on Melania's jacket. How do you think the world should govern? What is your ideal world? A classless and raceless society? That sounds real commie, but I don't know. I don't know how the world should govern. The world is terrible. We should just exercise more compassion in our policies. That's the way I see it. And I don't mean that in like a make sure that everyone is represented equally under the law. I think we should be doing that, of course, but what I mean by that is legislate economic policy that would, at the very least, be more compassionate and distribute resources in a more equitable way. It's about protection using space. Oh my God. Conspiracy theories saying that Russia and China have weaponized satellites. Okay. Well, I don't know. Oh, Jessica, I haven't posted it yet. I will be posting it later. Would love to hear your school choice opinion on Betsy DeVos's school choice. Oh my God. Look, Gonzo, I've talked about Betsy a lot, okay? She is a designated swamp member, using Trump's terms. Wealthy family, just horribly incapable of running the department that she's in charge of, bought her way into the government, just like everything. It's just a glaring example of the Republican administration not practicing what they preach whatsoever. School choice programs are absolutely awful because it cripples the already dying public education system, which is necessary because it still covers the large majority, overwhelming majority of students being educated in America. And without education, you have more MAGA chuds. Without education, you have a more malleable population ready to be influenced. It's just a bunch of mindless drone consumers. And unfortunately, that's what's happening right now. Tommy has not unblocked me on Instagram. Yeah, Betsy DeVos is making America dumb again. America's pretty dumb to begin with, but she's making it even dumber. And also making a profit while she's making it dumber. So that's the other problem. Thank you, Kristen Horn. Teacher, it's so funny that, like, I'll be honest, it's so funny. I used to hate teachers when I was growing up. When I was a child, I hated teachers. I thought they were oppressive and I resented them because they were a symbol of authority for me. And I grew up and now I understand how important a teacher's job is. I always knew how impossible their job was because they had to deal with shitheads like myself in school all the freaking time. And they still do, probably with like way worse kids than me. But yeah. It's just, I truly respect teachers, and the way we treat teachers in this country is absolutely morally reprehensible. It's an incredibly important job, and our understanding of like what a teacher does is it's just so broken. Kasich? I don't know. Just run of the mill. Sucks. That's all I got on him. Oh, do you think people are not educated in our history, that they ignore the evils? No, I think they have a misunderstood interpretation of our history. That's what it is, honestly. 23 years of teaching high school. Hell yeah, Dan Townsend. Thank you. I don't think Tommy's dumb. Ann Coulter is evil, but I don't think Tommy's dumb. I think Tommy is like learning to become more evil as she grows up in the conservative hemisphere. I love my teachers, most respect to them. The same company that owns the building used to house the child immigrants in McAllen is building a charter school in Corpus, Texas, offers bilingual education. Thoughts? That's not shocking to me at all. No, I don't think about running for office in the future. I would be in jail if I was a teacher. Oh, dude, trust me, I know. I do believe in Taco Tuesday on Thursday. I think you should be able to live your life exactly the way you want. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do and what not to do. You eat those tacos. You demand cheap tacos on Thursday, even though they are offering Tacos Tuesday only on Tuesdays. Yeah, no, I can't run for political office. I've said this before, but I'd rather be a watchdog than a dog. And that's like a more Turkish approach to the understanding of what a dog is, because dogs are amazing. And especially in Western culture, people love dogs, but it's usually used in Turkish culture as like a diss. I just can't, I'm not capable of compromising, so I would be a terrible politician. The All Lives Matter bros, I think we all know what the fuck that was. At this point, it's just like, it's so obvious. We all know what that is. There's no such thing as All Lives Matter. That was absolutely just a bunch of racist people angry that black people were speaking their mind and trying to make white America come to terms with the gross reality of police brutality disproportionately affecting people of color. All Lives Matter. So stupid. How do we let shit like that? How do we as a society let Republicans get away with that? How do we let Fox News get away with running on that narrative? How do we let them get away with running on the narrative that Barack Obama was not a U.S. citizen? Like, all of these things are so incredibly racist. And then when we say that these things are racist, Republicans get so offended. They get so offended. It's like, all right, if you don't want to be called racist, how about you don't be a fucking racist? How about you don't do racist shit? Like, it's so stupid. Joe Kennedy's a wet napkin. Or a wet blanket. That's what I think about him. Anyway, what else? You think Tommy would ever do a breakdown video type for me? No, absolutely not. I don't think so. What's my PSN? I can't give you guys that. If you want to know what my PSN is, you have to go follow my freaking Twitch at twitch.tv/hasanpiker. Only then will you know what my... Hold on. Twitch. I'm writing this out now. twitch.tv/hasanpiker. Only then will you figure out what my PSN is. I also play with my subscribers too. I started playing with my subscribers like earlier this week, and it's been incredibly fun, especially because some of my subscribers are much better than I am at the game. And I wouldn't say I'm terrible. I would say that I'm decent. What is this? Rotate your phone. But yeah, if you want to play Fortnite with me, I guess you have to subscribe. That's what you have to do. We do need better help for mental health, which would happen only if we funded social programs, which would be a socialist position. There you go. Here's another reason why socialism is good and important. Why about Joe Kennedy? Joe Kennedy is an industry prop, basically. You know, he's like the Bruno Mars. Well, not the Bruno Mars. Who is like the son or daughter of like already like a famous existing political dynasty. He's the son of he's a part of a existing political dynasty. He is like largely a neoliberal. He's very, he's to be perfectly honest, I'm not super familiar with his policy positions, but every time I do hear his name appear in the news in some respect, I'm like, ugh, god damn it, Joe. Like, he was not for pro legalization of marijuana at the federal level at some point, I think, which is ridiculous. Look, the reality is I don't like a lot of Democratic politicians. Like, I just do not. I don't like a lot of Democratic politicians because they don't represent me at all. They don't represent my interests at all. They don't represent my beliefs at all. I feel like the Democratic Party largely is controlled opposition, and they are very much a part of this immobile political machine, and they play their role actively as a controlled opposition to the Republican Party. They're less racist, so I guess that's cool. But I think that's like too low of a barrier for me to fully subscribe to. God damn it, I'm carrying so much laundry right now, you guys. Ooh, I got FedEx delivery. Is this weird? Is this like a weird format for you guys? Because this is not for me, it's for my roommate. Hi. What's going on? Watch this. Hi. Hi, guys. Oh, God. You're breaking things, fish. You're too excited. These are my puppers. Okay, chill. What? No, of course I don't consider myself Republican. No, I'm further to the left in the Democratic Party, so no, I definitely don't consider myself a Republican in any way, shape, or form. Oh my God. Guys, I have so much laundry to do, but instead of being a good boy and taking care of my responsibilities, being an adult, what am I doing? Instead, I'm live streaming on Facebook. Chuck, I did. A lot of you guys sent me that one video from, like, the new Tommy Cut Up, whatever her name is. It's like the MCR reporter or whatever. I forget what it is. It's like the brunette chick who's like, saying like, we were the only ones sounding the whistle about immigration when Barack Obama was president. And it's like, What do you mean? So you were critical of immigration policies back then because Barack Obama was doing it, but now that Trump is doing the same thing, you're in support of it? That's the one thing that I never understand about conservatives is that, like, they don't even care to draw a logical conclusion. It's just, and I think I definitely, I fall into this trap a little bit now too, where I just like draw up hypocrisies for you guys to look at and laugh at. I usually still try to end it with some form of conclusion, like some formative conclusion, but I just love it when those people are like, oh yeah, Barack Obama was doing this and we sounded the alarm. Okay, do you sound the alarm now under Trump? No, you're literally criticizing Barack Obama still, and you think it's fine when Trump does it? In a way more demonstrably cruel way. Like, it's just ridiculous. It literally makes no sense. And to be quite honest, it doesn't have to make sense for that constituency. It's just crazy. Like, whataboutism could be effective. I'm not saying that it is a completely ineffective way to draw up. It's a logical fallacy. It's a logically fallacious argument, but you could potentially put together a reasonably sounding argument with whataboutism bullshit, right? And Republicans do it all the time. Even I do it sometimes. I think it's an entertaining way to bring out a point. But but you have to have a formative conclusion on the other end of that whataboutism argument. So it doesn't make any sense if you just say, well, Barack Obama did this and we criticized them. Why are you guys only criticizing Donald Trump? One, a lot of people that attack me personally about this don't realize that I wasn't a political commentator at the time. I was in fucking college. And when I was in fucking college, I will go on Chapo one day. Probably not, though. Let's be real. Felix is intimidated by my size and my Fortnite skills, so he refuses to have me on Chapo. He wants to be the only person who is their Middle Eastern policy expert, their humor expert, and also the guy who, you guys can Google Hasan. Yeah. Reason with who? The Chapo boys? I love the Chapo boys. What am I going to reason with them on? I think they're great. I think that, some of the stuff, they're definitely further to the left than I am. But I think they're like they do a very entertaining job of clearly and concisely breaking down Republican messaging. It's very similar to what I do. And I really like what they do. What did you study in college? Political science. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I keep forgetting, so there are bad policies that the Clinton administration put forward, like the 3 strikes law. Like, we know this already. At this point, your thinking might have evolved. As progressives, our thinking should evolve. The whole idea is that we are not conservatives. So whenever conservatives come back to us and go, well, what happened? Your previous administration, those liberals did this, then tell them, yeah, no shit. We're fucking progressive. Our understanding of certain concepts evolves through time. Once we see those policies enacted, we are at least capable of admitting defeat, capable of admitting wrongdoing, and then changing those policies. The problem is, I don't think the Democrats are capable of doing that. But I think the Democratic constituency is. I think the Democratic constituency is capable of doing that. And I think we should encourage our politicians to be more truthful. They use liberal like it's a 4-letter. Liberal. Anyway. I wish I could debate politics like you. I like your viewpoints. Come to Dallas. We will barbecue for you and have a good combo. I'm down, Marcos. I'm down. Wait, I've lost a big chunk of the audience at this point because originally when we started it was 400 people watching. But I do want to know, for those of you who are still sticking at this point, do any of you have conservative ideas or conservative ideals? Did I change anyone's minds in this stream right now from being a conservative leaning person who was potentially willing to vote for Donald Trump to someone who then decided, no, fuck that. Actually, this is crazy. Yes, I'm drinking cold brew late in the afternoon, and there's 2 reasons for that. One is because I have a severe caffeine dependency, not even an addiction, a dependency. And 2 is because I have a long day ahead, a long and prosperous journey ahead, a tumultuous journey ahead. And in order to take it on, I need caffeine. Anyway, dude, TYT is starting right now. I know. Well, this is my second half of the day, and in this portion, I just usually work from home. I totally do understand if some of you guys want to leave and go watch TYT. That's understandable. Wait, actually, how many of you guys found TYT through me? Because that is something I am genuinely interested in finding out about. Like, how many of you guys saw videos of mine, followed me, and then were like, whoa, what is this guy? What network is this guy on? And then you're like, oh, shit. Oh, Michael James. That's exactly my point. That's what I mean. That's perfect. For those of you who didn't see that, Michael James said, you didn't change my mind, but you got me more involved in politics and made me realize I'm more of a liberal. And that's something that I hear from people a lot of times. And whenever people send me private messages, like, that's usually the ongoing theme. In the stream, no, a lot of your older videos had an impact on me as I was on the fence. No, that's what I meant. I didn't mean, like, did I change your mind on this stream? I'm not crazy. I don't think I can change anyone's mind in one, 5 to 50-minute video, like a live stream on Facebook. What do you think of Melania and her jacket? Ali, I did a video on it. I think it's horrible, but I think it's also hilarious because it truly demonstrates how little the Republicans genuinely give a shit about about immigrant children. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the story, because it just broke basically earlier, Melania Trump was wearing a what did the jacket say? I don't even remember now. She said she was wearing a jacket that said, like, I don't really care, do you? While visiting, like, while getting on the plane for a photo op. It was a $39 Zara jacket that said, I don't really care, do you? While getting on the plane to go to a Texas child's immigration detention center. Very cool. So I made fun of it. I think it's lighthearted. It's a lighthearted video. I think that, we should potentially have some fun sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not saying this is the Daily Show where I'm going to make Kofefe jokes left and right, but I found TYT through you. Oh, thank you. I wish people didn't even care about the jacket. I think the jacket thing is funny. It's not like a serious thing. What's really serious is the fact that Pentagon ordered 20,000 facilities to hold 20,000 children, 20,000 extra children. Even this is after the executive order. So I think that's way more terrifying. From which sources do I get news? I actually don't have any good sources to get Turkish news from, so I would greatly appreciate it if you could send me some DMs, like some personal messages, to help me get a better grasp on Turkish politics, because it is an area of weakness of mine at this point. I do care, and I do want to know more about what's happening in Turkey. Most of my information is directly from family members who live there. This is Fleekly. It's a famous anime with a cult-like following. I want to watch it, but I can't stop listening to you. Just found TYT, thanks. Trevor Noah or Jon Stewart? Jon Stewart, without a doubt, you guys, come on. Jon Stewart was incredibly important for me. I mean, he was the person that made politics entertaining for me, like American politics entertaining for me. Political satire has always been something that I've always been interested in, and it's always been a way for me to keep up to date with Turkish politics. When I was growing up, I used to read these these weekly politics magazines. Basically, it's like Charlie Hebdo, but less racist, and like way funnier. But anyway, so I used to read Uykusuz and Penguin, two magazines that featured like political cartoons and caricatures and whatnot. and it was very important for me. So I think that satire is incredibly important when educating the populace. Cliff notes on what you said about Republicans or conservatives. I can't go through the cliff notes again, you guys. Holy shit. Through your videos, I realize I'm far more left than I realized, but I never really identified as a Republican. And yes, John left when we lost a lot. Yeah. Jon Stewart had, I think Jon Stewart was further to the left than Trevor was. And he was the driving force behind The Daily Show. It was... I mean, Trevor Noah's good, and I think he's building a foundation for a different kind of show, or maybe building upon the same fan base of the earlier show, but I think the John's radicalized. You know what I mean? Like, Jon Stewart fans are way further to the left than Trevor Noah, because they've been aware of the political realities in this country for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Wait, what did I say? What's less racist? Things like that terrify me. When people over the age of 50 tell me that they're worried about the future of this nation, that fucking worries me, because I'm always operating under the assumption that people that are older than me usually have a more conservative perspective because they've seen more throughout history. They understand that, things don't change so drastically in such a short period of time, and that there's always a pendulum shift back to normalcy in some respects. Even Steven was the best bit. That's funny. Why do people keep asking about the Space Force? I don't understand. I don't really give a shit. I think it's like... No, I wouldn't. I've said this before. I wouldn't sit down and talk to Steven Crowder because people say we look alike, and I hate that. That's why. My kids made me more liberal, not less. I think his view is being far left. I just see someone who's telling the truth and putting shit out there for you to think about. Start conversations. Yeah, I'm definitely far left. I'm definitely further to the left than a lot. Would you debate someone from PagerU if I set it up? It's an interesting question. I don't know. It depends on who it is. Maybe. Chocolate covered donut with sprinkles or glazed. That's sprinkles. Or glazed, actually. Glazed I like more. Get that CNN money? Yeah, right, guys. Come on. As if CNN would ever hire me. Let's be real. As if mainstream media would ever hire leftist voices that are further to the left than what is the established norm. Come on. That's the funny thing, is like, all of these conservatives constantly talk about how their voices are being silenced. And it's like, it doesn't seem like your voices are being silenced, because you are currently being signal boosted by CNN, because you're screaming about how your voices are being silenced on CNN. So what the fuck? Are your voices silenced or not? Meanwhile, you'll rarely ever see a leftist figure on any of these platforms. I mean, Chris Hayes is like the closest we have to progressive representation on television, on mainstream media. Bill Maher would never have me on his show either. I think what? Oh no! Oh shit! Is that loud? It's my PlayStation. I'm turning on and getting ready to. I'm turning on and getting ready to live stream real quick. And I said Kamala Harris is a cop. I have no opinions on Meghan McCain. I don't like her dad though. Anyway, Tommy would never debate me, no. Maybe one day. I'd have to be, I think, a lot more famous for her to actually do that. Bill Maher does hate Muslims. So it is rather annoying. I can't watch his show. Like, Bill Maher doesn't criticize Islam from the same perspective that he criticizes other religions. Bill Maher criticizes all religions, and I totally understand that. But his otherism when it comes to Islam is that it is a uniquely violent and cruel religion, and it just is someone who doesn't have a full grasp or understanding of Islam in general, and that is what is incredibly frustrating to me about Bill Maher. Wait, hold on. Let me see if my group is on right now. 1 second, guys.